Oh my god, hello. This is Star Host, an astrology podcast where we talk about the hell of living through another apocalypse and the transits coming next week that we are horny for. I am a host, Lana McKenna. I have a Gem Sun, Pisces Moon, and Capricorn Rising.
I'm Matt Dragonstone. I'm another host. I have a Taurus Sun, Sagittarius Moon, and Taurus Rising.
And I'm Larissa Kesby. I'm your final host. I have a Pisces Sun, Leo Moon, and a Libra Rising, and we are so excited, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Oh my god. Hello! Welcome back, listeners. We have an excellent, wild episode this week. My name is Lana. I don't know if I mentioned that. I always forget to. But it's me, Lana. We have a wild episode coming up. It's going to be fucking sick. We have a giveaway winner from our giveaway this week to announce in AstroloTea, so it's going to be really exciting. Stay tuned for that. We have incredible messages in these unprecedented times from the universe. Thank you, Uni. And a really, really great chat to finish on Aries. If you're having an emotional breakdown or meltdown, how do you know? How do you deal with it? What strategies do you have? And that will be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But for now, let's get into Lockdown Lowdown. We have so much to discuss. So in true Mercury and Scorpio fashion, Twitter is wild with conspiracy at the moment. Ari, Trump has COVID. What do we think? Isn't this wild? Is this real or is it an October surprise? Guys, what do we think?
Yeah. I'm down with the conspiracy theories. I've said this to you guys before. I love them. I love Mercury being in Scorpio. I love conspiracy theories on non-Mercury Scorpio days and weeks. So let's just, hope that this is an October surprise. I think it is an October surprise. I don't think he has COVID. I think he's trying to distract us from the horrible debate. I think he's trying to distract us from the fact that America's in the fucking toilet. So he's empathize with me. I'm sick like you guys too. Don't think about anything else bad I've done. Not true.
Totally. Let me tell you what, that debate was the worst fucking reading challenge I have seen this year. The worst one. So bad. It was hell to watch, but technically Biden won. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is an October surprise because there is simply no low that he will not pass. But as soon as he said via Twitter, we're going into quarantine, I knew he was going to test positive. But I will also say that I love the conspiracy that people don't believe that is what's happening. But there was something else I was going to say about it. He's gone really quiet.
On Twitter?
Yeah, which makes me think it's probably legit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he would be, if it wasn't real, he would be I'm beating this virus, blah, 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 and we haven't heard a peep. In fact, the last
thing he tweeted was love in capital letters.
Yeah, it was
creepy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that him and Melania got close enough to share COVID between each other.
Truly.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah.
What do you think about all of this, Matt?
Yeah, man. 200,000 Americans have lost their lives because he's such an inept tool bag of a human. I think it's actually real. And, I think that it's just basically a result of two things. The absolute failure of America to deal with the pandemic in a way that's safe. They could have, they didn't.
Yeah.
And it speaks to a deeper underlying structural decay, which we've all seen prior to the pandemic anyway.
Yeah.
Trump's the man. He's the number one editor-in-chief of the US, right? Commander-in-chief, sorry. But as a result of that, as a figurehead of that country, it's unsurprising that he's personally got COVID. And we can live without that kind of tool baggery in the world, dude. To hell with you, Trump. I fucking hate you.
Matt, have you had a chance to have a look at his chart?
I have.
To see what's happening, why he's got COVID, astrologically?
Well, I mean, there's not really much we can say astrologically about illness like COVID specifically, but we can say a lot about karma, right? Yeah. Trump's having his nodal return. We haven't spoken about the nodes. Basically, in a nutshell, they're the evolutionary trajectory of your soul over multiple lifetimes, so they're intimately bound up with fate and karma. Trump's sun conjoins his north node, his moon conjoins his south node. So that opposition between north and south, which is being exacerbated by the nodes returning to their place that they were at when he was born, means that he's facing karma at the moment.
Wow.
And how sweet and ironically sweet and poetically just it is that he has COVID.
Yeah.
Did I mention fuck you, Trump? Fuck you, Trump.
Okay, so I have some top tweets. I'll read this situation if you would like to hear them. So this one is from Moonbabe. It's an astrology account on Twitter at supermoongirl9. Trump being put back in his place by the astrological transits is super funny. Crying face. I assume like happy tears.
Yeah.
Mercury and Scorpio revealing things. Ari, his tax issues going public. The full moon in Aries conjunct Chiron with Mars retro. He has the virus he claimed was like nothing and not a big deal, and he didn't protect his citizens against it.
He was saying it wasn't real and he refused to wear a mask and now he has it.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's karma or if it's literally
sweet.
like consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what karma is, boo.
Dang.
That is literally the definition of karma.
Oh my God.
Your face when you realise, you're like, so cute.
What a mome. Guys, this just in. Lana learns what karma is.
That's the fucking title for this episode.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Okay. So there were also some really like good tweets as well. So Samantha Maiden, no idea who she is. Wowie, there's some very insane takes from people who don't like that Trump has COVID, that he has infected himself with COVID on purpose to avoid the upcoming debates, including Bette Midler, and that is properly nuts. It is. But I love it.
I wouldn't put it past him. He did so poorly.
Yes, totally.
When Biden looked at him and said, "Will you shut up, man?" I was like,
yeah, agree.
Dude, that debate happened during the Mars Saturn Square.
yeah, we posted about it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was such an incredible manifestation of that transit.
Yeah.
So
Seeing
incredible.
it happen live was awesome.
Yeah. Here's another great tweet from Sarah Cooper. Breaking, Trump says he cannot release the results of his COVID tests because they are currently under audit. Telstra also did not, like, they're not fucking around. I don't know who was in charge of Telstra's Twitter account on the day because it's very unlike them to be so fucking cool. But they retweeted his, like, you know, we've tested positive tweet. And they're like, don't even try and blame 5G for this.
That's funny, Telstra. I still don't forgive you, though.
Yeah,
No,
very true.
no one
Very, very
forgets
true.
Telstra.
Okay, so these are also very funny. So Detox, like,
Drag queen.
incredible drag queen, love her to bits. Fingers crossed, please try the bleach injections, very good. And this last one is really funny too. So Lucky, conservatives agree that given Trump is a grandparent, it's okay if he dies. And they're my top Trump tweets.
So good.
Very, very good.
It's been an interesting week.
Hasn't it been a wild fucking week?
I really am. And we were like this, like this Mercury and Scorp energy is just really prevalent at the moment.
It is. Yep.
It is.
It's just like playing out like daily for me personally, and you can see it happening globally and it's happening in this country where, you know, the budget's being released next week. So we're about to see the fucking receipts from our federal government as well, like literally they're about to be uncovered. Like it's really interesting.
It is really interesting. And I really hope that we can dig into it next week because I've just been fucking biding my time waiting to get into fucking ScoMo on this podcast.
You really have. Every week you're like, can we talk about him yet? And we're like, Dan's still the topic, girl.
Yeah.
Let's keep it local. So true. But let's channel Mercury and Scorpio.
Yeah.
I have a question for y'all, and I'm very keen to hear your answers to this question. So what was the biggest holy shit astrology is real moment that you've had learning about your personal planets? So just for like listeners, your personal planets are your sun, moon, your rising or ascendant, your Venus, Mars, and Mercury. So they will be in a placement on your chart that's specific to you, whereas the outer planets, the bigger ones, the slower movers, they tend to be seen as generational planets. So like millennials have a very similar stellium, I believe. Pluto's all kind of always in Scorpio for millennials, that sort of thing. So you'll have those in common with people in similar age groups to you, but your personal planets are specific to you. So I just thought we'd have a chat about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will go first.
Yeah, please.
I've had all week to think about this. Yep. So for me, I think this is super common. The first time you see your birth chart and you understand what a moon is, when I saw that fucking moon in that little fishy pond of Pisces, I was shook.
Yeah.
You
said that you hated Pisces before you realized you fucking are one.
Yeah. I was disgusted because I was like, get the fuck out of here. And because one of my sisters, Thea, hello, shout out, is a Pisces, and she's very Piscean, like very, very sensitive to kind of everything that she can pick up, true or not true. Do you know what I mean? And like she has come miles in the last couple of years. We had a very hard relationship for, I reckon, the first like 15 kind of like years of our lives, even though she was my very first ever best friend. But like we are like totally different place now, much better, love it a bit, very, very proud of her and kind of everything that she's overcome in her life. But I fucking hated Pisces for the longest time because of her. Like she was just so sensitive and I was like, oh no. But when I found out that your moon represents your inner world and when Matt explained to me that like it's literally like Pisces is like not, you don't have a layer of skin or something like that because you're so sensitive.
Yeah.
It made total sense because I'm such a crybaby marshmallow on the inside. Yeah. And I think it's in my third house, right, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all about siblings. So basically, like, I am so obsessed and connected to my siblings, which I think that they must know because I'm always like.
And you're the eldest as well, of course.
Well,
you lead the way.
Exactly. And like one of my brothers, I don't talk to him super, super often, but I will just pop in and just be like, what's going on with you? Haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? Are you safe? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, good. Would you tell me if you were sad? And he's like a 20-year-old dude. Like he does not need some older sister being like, did you get my journal? Are you journaling?
It's beautiful though.
Yeah, like I'm very like obsessed and in love with them. So for me, that was my like, holy shit, this is definitely who I am on the inside, and like my emotional world for sure. And it's definitely helped me.
Yeah.
Like access my feelings way more, understand other Pisces way more. Very, very good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Okay, it's got to be you, man.
Okay, mine's the same. It's moon again. I have always I've always been like surface level interested in astrology, and it wasn't until like I met Matt actually, and I remember like sitting at work, and it was like 6:30 on a Tuesday night, and we used to sit together in the same team when you could be in an office, and Matt looked at me and he was like, What was your time and place of birth, Janye? And I was like, okay. And I told him. And then I remember you opening up my chart and then like closing it 2 minutes later because you were like, this is too much. I know too much. This is too personal. I'm sorry. We'll talk about this not at work. And I was like, what the fuck?
Very wild to me, Matt, that you would just like without consent go and look at somebody's birth chart because that is very...
I totally said like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is the time I was born.
Word.
That's how we pulled it up.
Yeah.
I always get consent.
Always, yeah. I consented. But he like, you knew like straight away, you were like, there's some darkness here. There's some shit that we can't talk about in the office, like GTG. And I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, this is bizarre. So then like...
Great recruitment tool, Matt.
Yeah, so good. Because I had to know more. I needed to dig deeper. I wanted to understand myself. I know I'm a Pisces and I come across that. That's my soul. But when I found out that I had a moon in Leo, it was like my whole world made sense to me for the first time because Pisces are known as like introverted dreamers and I am the biggest fucking extrovert. And if the attention's not on me, I will find fucked up ways to put it on myself.
I just can't breathe.
Yeah. Look at me. Like, and it's the most weird because half of me is like, I want to be in bed all day cuddling and watching movies and just being cute and happy. And the other half is like, the other half of me is like, I have to make you laugh. I need you to see me. I need you to be looking at me. I need you to tell me I'm fucking awesome or I can't live.
Yeah.
Like, so when I found out that's because I have a moon in Leo in the 10th house, it's because I'm a performer emotionally. Yeah. And I can't get away from it. So my inner world is literally me being the star of my own show.
Yeah.
Which is so bizarre. It's such a juxtaposition to being a Pisces sun, but when you paint the whole picture, I was like, oh, it's made so much sense for me.
Absolutely.
And I understand and can connect to myself way better.
Also, can I say that wearing your moon on your sleeve, like you definitely do, is very Piscean. Like,
yeah. And I really do I dip in and out. Like there are definitely days, sometimes weeks where I just like won't text people back and I'll be like, I need to conserve my energy. I need to be very Piscean. I need to channel my intuition and I can't be around people. I'm too sensitive. And then other times where I'm like, if we don't hang out today, I'm ending our friendship.
Good God.
I need a human around me. I need to see you. I need you to see me.
More importantly.
I need you to see me.
I need somebody to perform in front of.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a 10th house Leo moon for those playing at home, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And, Kylie Jenner also has a moon in the 10th house, so am I going to be a billionaire? Probably.
That's so funny. Do you know what's wild? Kim K has a Pisces moon.
I know, and so does Kanye.
Right? Wild.
They must have some intense arguments.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So it's your turn, Matt, finally. We've all been waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll preface my answer with saying that both of you do your sun and moon placements very well, and descendant, if you don't mind me saying.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And bringing it into consciousness is really important, and you guys do it really well. Okay, so the big moment for me came about 20 years ago when I discovered house placements. And specifically my sun in the 12th house made so much sense to me that it took me like a week to get over that revelation. And, the sun in the 12th house can sometimes make you feel like you're in a spacesuit and you don't really relate to people around you, like in general, and you feel a bit isolated. And all of that made sense, and that was like a big kind of emotional catharsis. But the thing that really, really made me go, holy shit, astrology is real, is the way out of that feeling that the 12th house promises you and that I read in this book. So the book was by Debbi Kempton-Smith. The title escapes me, but it's a really pulpy kind of intro to astrology book, and it's one of the first ones that I ever read. It's called The Secrets from a Stargazer's Notebook, actually. Now it's come back to me.
We'll link that in the show notes.
I want to read
100%. I recommend it as a great intro to astrology book. It's probably a bit dated. All of the references are from the 70s when I read it. So,
oh my God.
There are better books out there, but this one was very special to me. So the 12th house will make you undo yourself, and it's about self-sabotage unless you serve the other. And that revelation just made so much sense to me in the moment that it shook me so bad that I really couldn't do much for about a week after I read this paragraph, because it spoke to my experiences to that date. And it also made me realize that if I consciously engage with that, I can overcome a feeling of immense isolation that I've brought with me into this incarnation. It made me fall in love with astrology, so much so that for about 20 years since then, I've been studying it, and probably for about the past 15 years, I've been practicing it with people. And anyone who's had a reading with me knows that after about the third reading, I just drop the price and sometimes get rid of it altogether, because for me, astrology is a kind of way in which I can fulfill that 12th house promise to serve others. It structures my language. It structures how I see the world. And it's really quite beautiful. And that's the moment. And that was the planet, and that was the house placement.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
I've totally seen you, now that you talk about this, there have been moments where I've seen you in the office at work, and obviously you stood out like a sore thumb because you're a fucking doctor in philosophy. I remember seeing you, and like I can almost see you in the office wearing a spacesuit now. Like not fitting in. Like, this is not where I'm meant to be. I'm not serving myself, and I'm not serving others in this environment, in the corporate world. I always remember thinking to myself, why the fuck is this guy here? He's incredible.
Yeah. I totally thought that too. I remember like the first couple of times I met you, because you were in Melbourne and I was still living in Brisbane at this time. You were just so straight, straighty 180, not fucking around, down to business, whatever. But I knew that there was like a fucking weirdo underbelly that was like your real personality underneath it all. And I seek out people that are straighty 180s at work because I know I work really well with them. Yeah. And we hit it off, but you would always make these little comments about astrology, and I was just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who is this guy?
You were wearing like a 3-piece suit.
With
you were so
fluoro-coloured like like New Balance runners.
Yeah. Corporate dad.
Yeah.
Gotta keep it real, man. You're too kind, the two of you, for a start. But there's also instances that I remember where you were both channeling your sun and moon placements before you were aware of what your sun and moon placements were, by house and by sign, right? Like Larissa, you were in charge of, for a time, you were in charge of basically entertainment and having a good time.
You were.
That's a fifth house sun.
Yeah.
That's a 10th house Leo moon. That's your professional persona, is, caring about people enjoying themselves. And that was you, my friend.
I can't believe how much money they gave me for that. I'm not going to say the number, but it's ridiculous.
It was an awesome job. It was a fantastic job, and it suited you down to the ground. And
it did.
Lana, I used to just message you going, what's the vibe? Because I knew you were a Gemini and you were connected to everything.
She is tapped in.
That's true.
You had the tea. You spilled that tea often, and it was good quality tea too. None of this
Thank you very
twining
much.
bullshit.
Can I just say you weren't the only one who used to ask me what the vibe was?
Yeah.
Very high, like, executive leaders used to ask me the same fucking thing, and I'd be like, let me tell you, sis.
Yeah.
This is what's really going on.
Yeah. You want the
You were
real-
all of our women on the street, man. You
Yeah.
were like our woman on the streets, dude. You knew what was up.
That was so good, Lana.
That was
Such
really
a good question.
good. Really, really good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's wrap up this segment. Let's take a break. Let's get into AstroloTea. I can't wait to hear these transits. Also very excited about our giveaway winner.
You.
Welcome to AstroloTea. I'm Matt Dragonstone, and this week is all about high energy power. Mercury in Scorpio is opposing Uranus and Taurus on Thursday the 8th. Mars in Aries is squaring Pluto and Capricorn on Friday the 9th. And the Sun in Libra is forming a square to Jupiter in Capricorn on Sunday the 11th. If none of that makes sense, that's totally okay. The point of this segment is to break it down, make it simple, talk it out, and come away from the segment with a whole bunch of valuable information about these awesome fucking transits. Jesus, let's start.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes. All right, cool. But before we do, I've got a big announcement to make. It is the winner of our giveaway challenge. And drum roll, please. Jess Shaw, come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Jess is a super duper fan of the show. We love Jess around here. And as a result of her hard work in tagging friends, etc., she wins a reading with moi. 100% free. That's an hour-long astro reading with yours truly. She wins an oracle deck. She wins a crystal chosen by Larissa Kesby. Jesus, Mary, what a fucking prize.
Really
It's
cool.
a good prize.
Really, really
And the deck is the Dragon Oracle deck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the same one that I'm trying to get to you at the moment.
Yeah, I know, right? You should send it by horse and cart. It'll get here soon.
Yeah, I think Jess might get it before you do at this rate.
Fucking probably. Yeah, Jesus. Anyway, don't get me started on Australia Post, but do get me started about Jess Shaw. Congratulations, my friend. I'm looking forward to hearing from you shortly.
Yeah. So good. Just really quickly before we jump into AstroloTea, I would really love to read just a couple of the reviews we got on Apple this week because they're really lovely. And also, some of the usernames are just so fucking cool too. So this one is from MCRMS. I think it's lover with 2 L's.
Yeah.
I like to think that this is My Chemical Romance lover.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I recommend anyone who is wanting to understand more about their spirituality or about the planets affecting them to listen to this podcast. I have been listening every week since it first started, and it's really helped me understand more about my spirituality. I find all the hosts so funny and unique. Thank you so much, MCR lover. Oh my God. I honestly look forward to a new episode every Monday. So nice.
So nice.
So sweet.
Very, very nice.
I love
Yes.
So good. Really lovely. And the other one that we have here is from Humix69. So this weekly podcast with fascinating characters explores astrology and how it is impacting us in day-to-day life. I've laughed, I've learned, and I've loved the Star Hose. Thank you for your wonderful cast. So sweet.
So good.
So sweet. So yeah, there's some beautiful little mentions that I wanted to bring.
So nice. We're feeling very loved.
Yeah. Keep the rating and reviewing. Keep it going.
Yeah, we love hearing feedback.
Yeah. If you have feedback on, I don't know, anything. Put it in.
Anything.
Yeah. We were all in corporate for 10 years. We can take it.
We can take it, yeah. I've been to so many performance reviews.
Yeah. But
Give me that shit sandwich.
anyway, really, really cool. Congratulations, Jess!
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Congratulations, man.
Love it.
Fuck yeah.
So let's talk about Merc in Scorp opposite Uranus in Taurus. What a mouthful.
We haven't had an opposite yet, right?
Yeah, what's an
We
opposite?
haven't. Well, oppositions are drab. Sorry, guys.
Yay.
Like squares, they're a bit drab, but they're about balancing two energies, right? So squares are about two people talking at the same time and talking to each other, and they can't speak the same language. Oppositions are so opposite, as the name suggests, that it's about balancing two energies that are trying to move in opposite directions. So if you can hit that balance, you hit the power.
It's like a seesaw, right? Like that's how I've heard it described. You can't kind of have both at the same time because they're pulling you in two different directions. It's about how you manage the two different energies, because they're literally, like if you look at a birth chart, like it's literally like 180 degrees, right? Like it's polar opposites, so it's completely opposite signs. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, that's right. But there's a little bit of alchemy in here, guys. So diametric opposition means that there is the possibility to blend the two energies. So it's not necessarily like a square where you can't blend it. You got to do one, then the other, and just live with that really sort of intense anxiety. With oppositions, because the energies are so disparate and have so little to do with one another, you can actually blend them together. And it's that process that unlocks the high energy power, which is today's mantra.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. So what does it mean then? What's it going to feel like? What's the vibe?
Well, right. So Mercury, the planet of communication, information, and alchemy, is in Scorpio, and it's forming the opposition to Uranus in Taurus. That happens on Thursday, right? So it's a little bit like shocks and shocking news and communication that's a little bit kind of innovating and groundbreaking and disrupting. That's going to characterize the transit.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, so be ready for a bit of shocking news. Be ready for a little bit of shocking insight potentially into yourself.
Okay.
I also read as well that when Uranus is in Taurus, it's not necessarily just about like a surprise or a shock. It's generally something to do with like your values as well. Is that right? Or what's valuable to you? Those like kind of Taurian themes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, the highest octave of Taurus is value. It's what we consider to be worth it. But the lowest octaves also cash money as well. So we've seen through Uranus's transit through Taurus, big revolutions in how we earn our money. For instance, we all work from home from the comfort of our tracky dacks.
And OnlyFans really kicking off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is another Taurian theme as well. But it's about sort of this particular transit is about communication and information exchange and deep, accurate, and penetrating gossip, which is tied to innovation, progress, and disruption.
I'm so excited for
Listen to this
gossip.
Gemini.
I know.
Did we had?
Is it hot?
Oh my God.
This feels like a little little touchy. Like I feel like I might be on edge. Maybe I'm just on edge. You know what I mean? I feel like it might be a little bit I don't know what the word is to describe that exact sound.
Anxiety. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like dry lightning, basically. It is touchy, but it can drive real change in how you prepare for and endure and triumph over uncertainty. Right?
That's really good.
Yeah, totally.
But it sounds like you'll have to like do the hard work in order for this to be a good transit.
But potentially there's some hard work, yeah. And I think the hard work probably has to do with dealing with what comes out of the transit rather than experiencing the transit itself. Because Uranus is involved and Mercury. So that shit is going to be instant and shocking. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. If you need to dig really fucking deep into yourself or into another person's shit, then this transit will certainly do that. But if you're digging, you need to accept whatever comes out of that Taurian Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
And Mercury's in Scorp. It's time for some potential big shocks.
I'm just going to say the mental image I got literally as you were saying that was people making the decision to look through their partner's phone and then not liking what they find.
Yeah.
Like that's what that feels like.
Yeah.
Never go there.
Be
man.
okay with the outcome if you make the decision to go there.
Totally. Like, don't get me wrong. that is completely, like, in my opinion, totally unevolved behavior. Like, if there's a reason you're digging into somebody's phone, obviously, like, I would
You can't trust them in the first place.
Well, I would hope that there's, like, a reason that's driven you to that.
Yeah.
That if it comes true, may be shocking, but I really hope that you don't just do that as how you live your life. Like, that's a big red flag.
I think it's a perfect image, man. I really do. Uranus is technology, Mercury is communication. It's a phone, it's Scorpio, it's digging deep. It's opening them hidden apps, and be ready for what you find.
Hidden apps. Oh my God.
I can't handle it.
Oh, okay. Let's move on to Mars in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn. I feel like when I was researching this one, kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's scary. It is scary. Like Mars and Pluto both kind of look at the same thing, which is everything without filters on. Okay, so it's not really a touchy-feely, nice, delicate transit. It's one that's very real and very powerful. So big, bad macho man Mars is at it again, but this time, he might have met his match in the super powerful subterranean lord of the underworld, Pluto, in Capricorn.
Yeah.
It's another square. It's drab.
You sounded
like little moo cows.
You sounded like a game show host just then, Matt. It's drab. And it's drab. Goodbye.
I'm trying to be succinct. Anyway, so it's about doing big jobs. Okay, so it's about kind of really having the raw energy to deal with this particular transit, which is happening on the 9th of October on the Friday. If you've got big jobs to do, that day's the day to do it. But, it's not really about anything else but trying to contain the awesome torrent, the tsunami, the 100% huge channel of energy which will be flowing through everyone on that particular day. It's not a time to be delicate.
I just had a vision of me cleaning the house, singing Macho, Macho Man all day this Friday. That's where you can find me. I'm hoping that's like the best outcome for this day, I think, right?
You will clean that house with acid and fire. That's what this day is about, right? Put on that metal music, that heavy metal tunes that all the young kids are listening to, and have at it.
Yeah. It's wild. So what is this transit particularly good for? Like, what is this hashtag good stars for, Matt?
All right. So it's good for, like I said, doing those big jobs. If you've got a lot of shit to do, right? If you've got a big daunting
list,
task.
if you're a Capricorn, for example.
Is it like, it's not like little tasks though, right? Like this is like big work.
There's some things that this transit is not good for, okay? But we'll get to those in a tick.
Okay.
First one is if you've got big, intense jobs that are going to take a lot of your energy and a lot of your time, if you can, leave it off until Friday and you'll be amazed at how much you get done. It's about the big, big sort of construction jobs, I suppose you could say, right?
Okay.
What it's not good for is touchy-feely. It's not good for, delicate diplomatic conversations and situations which rely on diplomacy and tact. You're not going to have any on Friday. Like you're going to walk in, kick a door in, tell someone to get fucked and like ride off into the sunset, leaving a blaze of burning bridges behind you. So don't do that.
So I need to buy a cowboy hat before Friday.
So if I'm like angry at someone, I shouldn't talk to them about it on Friday.
Not a good day.
Not a good day. Not a good day.
Not if you not unless you want that
unless I want to fight.
Yeah.
So if I want to end someone's life, I do it on Friday.
Something that I read specifically about this transit is that because we'll have so much energy, especially like Mars energy, Pluto's all about big transformational change. If you just pop off and channel Mars energy, it could have life-altering consequences. I don't know if that's legit, but that's just what I read. And that's what I put in a caption for social media.
Totally 100% true. And unlike just about every transit we choose on this podcast, this transit is not good to fuck. So don't do it. Seriously.
We should definitely put a reminder.
Do not have sex.
Sure, do not have sex today unless you're into some real fucking kinky shit.
Yeah, man, leave it alone if you're vanilla, honey.
Is this good for like BDSM?
Way good. It's all about power and power domination.
That's
and
right. So those like Queensland sex parties we were talking about?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in the Redlands on a Saturday night and have nothing else to do, just channel this energy and you'll have the time of your life. But if you're a bit delicate or a bit conservative, don't choose that day to like have a bang-a-thon. It's just not going to be good.
What's so funny? This is literally the day to peg your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like if there was ever a day.
Matt, you would be
Sorry.
shook if you heard how much we've been speaking about pegging this week.
Yeah, it's really just on top of mind.
Look, I'm not into kink shaming, man. Like if that's your thing, then go for it. It's not mine. That's dispatch, not receiving.
And in a lot of the girl like the super femme meme like Facebook groups that we're a part of, pegging is like it's
power.
Yeah, it's all about power. But I mean, men already know this. They have dicks.
Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah, we don't need to learn that lesson at all.
So I feel like on this day, I'm just going to stay home and clean my house and do shit that I've been putting off all year, basically, so that I don't like kill someone with my savage words.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, basically.
That's it.
That's it.
So let's talk about Sun in Libra square. Another square, Matt. Fucking hell. Jupiter in Capricorn.
Look, it's just, you got to work with the weather that comes in, guys. And it's stormy. But this isn't a bad square, okay? Not all squares are drab. Sometimes when good friends get together in the zodiac, and they form a square, it's the outcomes aren't that bad. Certainly not as bad as Mars Saturn or Mars Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely think that like hard conversations like with loved ones is important because it's how you grow and progress in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like it's conflict is a part of a relationship, and to deny that is to kind of like choose to keep things at a surface level.
That's it, my friends. But this square isn't necessarily about hard conversations. It's about watching that the fire doesn't turn into an inferno.
Ooh, okay.
Cute.
Let me elaborate.
Please.
So the sun is the big boss of our charts.
Yeah.
It's our core being. It's our inner soul promise. It says a lot about who you are, a lot but not everything. And it's usually all about you, okay? Jupiter is usually big and generous and hilarious and happy and lucky. I say usually for a reason. The sun's in Libra, which is all about the other, and Jupiter's in Capricorn, which it doesn't quite like being in. So this is going to be a square where we have to watch our propensity to have too much of a good time because we don't have as much control over these planets in our charts as we normally
so people might
would.
take too many drugs, overdose and die?
Whoa.
Well, potentially. I mean, Neptune's not involved.
Is this a good transit to take drugs?
Look, why not? Neptune's not involved. So, like, if you want to take drugs and you do it safely and you've got, like, a watcher or a trip sitter or whatever, go for it.
Cool.
Right? Yeah. But, I mean, like, the big thing about this particular transit is, we've all had a shit kind of a year, so just fucking enjoy yourself. This transit is good for a good time. Just be aware that you might take things a little bit too extreme and, it's trending towards excess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, it's the best we're going to get this month, guys, so fucking enjoy yourselves.
I fucking love excess, okay?
You don't need to talk to me about excess.
I love it. Excess baggage, excess shopping, excess drinking, excess drug binges, excess TV watching. I love it.
Binging.
I'm ready.
Fuck yeah. So after you get out of church on Sunday, just hit the fucking bars, hit the clubs if you're in a state that allows you to do that. If not, drink by yourself and cry, but do it with a lot of gusto and enjoyment.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I just want to talk very briefly about Jupiter.
Yeah.
Sure.
girl,
Do
hit
you
us.
think this is so stupid? Do you think that Jupiter's casino in Brisbane was named by an astrologer? Because I've been thinking about that a lot this week.
So funny.
Let me tell you something. All casinos are designed by Feng Shui experts, specifically so that you leave with less cash than you go in with. And Jupiter governs.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Jupiter's lucky, yeah. Jupiter governs gambling, but the casinos, I don't know.
Casino.
It's
a dog whistle to astrologers. Are you kidding? It's literally like these capitalist dogs being like, I know how we'll get that money in.
I just remember being younger and being like, Jupiter's is a stupid name for a casino when I was like 18 and had no idea about life. And now I'm like, that's marketing genius.
Jupiter governs gambling, my friends.
Love that.
Why do you think we call them martial arts? It's fighting. It's Mars.
Whoa.
Dude, come on. That planetary influence is
That is literally like, wake up, sheeple.
I'm asleep, Matt. Wake me up.
Seriously, though, gambling's a mug's game. You're not going to win at a casino.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah,
House always wins, my friends.
that's it. It's lucky, but it's lucky for fucking Packer or whatever his name is. James Packer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prick.
That whole family and Murdoch.
Ugh.
Not into it.
Yeah. Not lucky for you, the casual punter. Sorry, guys.
Thanks so much, Matt. That was awesome.
No worries, friends. Sis, that's the tea. I'm Dr. Matt Dragonstone, and good day to you.
Hi there, my name is Larissa and welcome to these unprecedented times. I'm going to be very honest with you, dear listener. I am.
Very quickly. There's more than one listener to this podcast.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to be very honest with you, dear listeners.
Manifest that shit.
I am pretty hungover. I drank too much sparkling wine yesterday, and sparkling wine makes you feel fine at the time, but not so much the next day. But we're going to power through, and this is going to be really fun. And apparently I'm like deaf, so sorry if I'm yelling at you right now. It's not personal. It's just drag. So let's get into it. We're going to like pull some cards, and we're going to have a chat about the energy that is going to be around this week and see what the vibe is, yo. So I'm just going to hand over to Matt right now, as I always do. Matt, what is your card?
I got the Page of Pentacles.
Wow.
What is the Page of Pentacles, Matt? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah. What does it look like?
Yeah.
Is it a page with tentacles?
God, no. Well, I mean, I'm using the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and the Page of Pentacles has a young guy holding aloft a pentacle in both hands, and he's dressed medieval style, so he's wearing a green tunic and brown leggings and boots and a long-sleeved undergarment, and he's got a red hat on, and he's set against a yellow background with trees. Yellow sky with trees and a blue mountain in the distance. At his feet spring tiny flowers, and the scene generally is one of bucolic splendor and verdant abundance.
Did you just say bucolic?
Yeah,
I thought you said bubonic.
I'm like, the plague?
No. It's just a nice country scene, basically. So
I like you mentioning the small flowers. They're very cute. I agree. I love this man's attire, and I also love the hat sash / snood that he is wearing.
It's a snood.
it is a snood. Yeah,
A beautiful red snood.
Look at his arms.
He's
listeners,
jacked.
Yeah, literally Google this card, listeners, because this man is fucking jacked. I have no idea.
Only in his right bicep by the looks of things.
Well, we know what he's doing. We know how it got that way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So every guy in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is kind of jacked or just old, basically. There's no fat, bald cunts. There's no fucking Chinese people. It's a very whitewashed kind of, idealized sort of deck.
Right.
But it's an oldie and a goodie, and I like to use it. So
what is the meaning of this card for us?
Well, it's about the page card is the first of the trump cards in each of the suits. So it's about beginnings, new beginnings. And the page is traditionally a kind of messenger figure in the tarot. So the Page of Pentacles means a new beginning with communications about money. I don't know if anyone saw Four Corners this week, but it's a pretty doom and gloom kind of story about how, JobKeeper's going to wind back and the economy's fucked, basically. Yeah. But this card gives me hope, right? I think that people are going to be
on Tuesday.
For what?
What was it?
The federal government, aren't they releasing the budget this Tuesday?
Are they?
I think they are. Like, I'm very certain that they are.
I hope they continue the JobKeeper. I really do.
For sure. Yeah. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's just about communication and messages around money, and I think people are going to be a little bit more resilient than everyone is expecting them to be. I think that over this past year, we've learned quite a fair bit about resilience as a people in Australia, and you know what? Financially, things aren't going to be that bad. That's my big prediction.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Okay. What card did you get, Lana?
So I got, guys, I'm using a new deck from Larissa. Thank you so much for getting these for me.
You're welcome.
So they're the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. Very cool. They're super beautiful. And I've pulled a New Moon in Pisces card. It is so nice. I can't help but feel that these were developed on Canva a little bit because I just feel like I recognize some of them. Yeah. But basically, it's really cool. So it's got a big fat new moon up the top of it. It's like blue and green, like nighttime sky, and two beautiful little fish swimming around. And if I look it up, give me a mo. New Moon in Pisces. So the message for this one is that this card speaks of dreams and romance, of soulmates and poetry. It suggests there's a new start coming your way that's connected to a matter that leaves you feeling somewhere in between having your head in the clouds and being in a totally altered state. There could be confusion and disappointment if that's what you've had before and that's what you're expecting. However, if you're onto a good thing, then wish hard because the words of your soul and your heart could help bring about the manifestation of your dreams. If all of that sounds a little wet and watery, then that's for you, Pisces. This is the last sign of the zodiac, and the New Moon in Pisces card can suggest a last-ditch chance to make your dreams come true.
Whoa.
Yeah. So additional meanings for this card. Face your fears. They may be holding you back. This situation is being healed. It's time to surrender to the divine. Avoid being deceptive or willingly deceived. So to me, this is like all about, what was the transit we just had, Ari Chiron, Matt, this week?
There was a full moon in Aries conjoining Chiron.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I feel like that was hitting a lot of us quite hard, and it's all about healing, right, Matt?
Yeah, well, it's Aries, right? So it's not delicate. It's just pain, but healing pain, like a surgeon's knife.
Yeah, so I feel like this is kind of speaking to that, and it's kind of a like very nice message being like, okay, so keep going, keep facing the pain, and like hope for the best, and like that is kind of the energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm interpreting from it, that it's just like a little sign to be like, okay, it's been like a hard week, but if you keep looking after yourself, if you meditate, you look after yourself.
Trust yourself.
Yeah, you can get through it.
Such a pretty card too. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck.
Sounds beautiful, man.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it.
Love that.
Cool. What'd you get?
So I'm working with a new deck as well. So I just, went on Book Depository like a month ago because I'm in Melbourne and that's how long mail takes, and bought us all some new cards to like celebrate how well we're all doing on our podcast. So Matt has some dragon cards on the way. Lana's moon cards are here, and I actually have so these are called Keepers of the Light Oracle cards, and they're by Kyle Gray, and these are basically like cards that have like deities representing them, and they're really, really cool. So I actually pulled a card which has Sanat Kumara on it, and the card title is Light Activation, and it's about shining your light because your intuition and your internal guidance is currently turned on and you're connected, so you should really, really focus in on that. And it talks about being, the light in a dark room. It talks about being that you feel like you're being really pushed at the moment, and that there's a lot going on, and that's because you're a magnet. And whatever you think, wherever your intention goes, that's what's going to come back at you. So you are who you surround yourself with, and you also everything that you think is always going to manifest. So this card's about keeping that in mind and making sure that you understand that you have a really powerful inner voice, and to use that for the right thing and trust that intuition as you're moving through life. So really,
beautiful.
Yeah, another
Very
really,
powerful.
really interesting card. Really, really similar to Lana's, I think, as well. Like some definitely themes around like trusting intuition, I think, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I guess I've been thinking about what question I want to ask you guys this week and what I wanted to kind of finish by talking about. And we've totally talked about a lot of emotions recently, and we spoke about emotions at the start of the episode when, we were talking about our moons and our holy shit, Astro is real moments. So I guess we've spoken about how to cope with an emotional breakdown, and I'm just wondering, like, what do you do if you can't even get to that point where you are recognizing or realizing that you have emotions that need to be kind of validated? So I guess my question is, how do you, if you've got stuff going on, like, what do you do to take time to validate what you're feeling inside? Or are you kind of more likely to push it down and just kind of move on with your life until you explode and have that emotional breakdown?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt? I've given you no time to think about that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. Look, I live in that mode of being all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm completely, at a loss most of the time when it comes to how I'm feeling about anything. It's only something that really I've accepted as being true very, very recently. And so when it comes to how do I kind of identify or get in touch with my emotions or realize that I'm having, a really high intensity emotional time.
Yeah.
Most recently, it's meditation.
Yeah.
It's just stilling the mind, the conscious mind, the rational, logical thinking in terms of, language and words. And then just using that to kind of engender a really somatic connectedness to my body. And from there, the emotional state that I'm in. But it's a long, hard road, dudes. And most of the time, I just push that shit down and then explode and abuse someone at Kmart.
Okay, Karen.
Wow, yeah, real Karen vibes there, mate.
Yeah, totally. I'm a male Karen.
I think I actually think that's what a lot of people do, and I actually think that a lot of our problems in society and with the wider human experience is that we don't recognize and validate our own feelings and each other's. So we always we see these big explosions where it's misplaced, the emotion that people are showing, like people abusing other people in Kmart, for example. So that's I think that's really interesting. What about you, Lana?
So I feel like a lot of my emotions, I naturally tend to suppress at first. Like I am so good at it, I don't even realize that is what I am doing in the moment. But since getting sick, you kind of can't avoid the peaks and troughs of like the emotional waves that you kind of go through, right? So you can tend to like once you're aware of like what your patterns are, and I was able to work out what mine were through therapy in the beginning and also through kinesiology. And I got some really good strategies about how to mentally kind of go through that, break that cycle, because I tend to suppress the feeling, then I'll bully myself for thinking negatively.
Yeah.
And I'll get really like angry at myself and have some really rubbish like self-talk, because I'll be like, we can't do this. Like we've got to be positive. We've got to power through. But that's like suppressing it.
Yeah.
Like that's not actually feeling what you're supposed to be feeling. So my last therapist was great. She was just like, invite it in. Like I know it's really scary, but invite it in. It's okay to feel that way. And just let it sit with you for a while. And then she gave me some really good strategies. So like you invite it in, and in my mind, right, this is so insane. So like if I'm having some like really hectic thoughts, I'll be like, okay, come on in. Because I'll be like, we're about to watch a movie, come watch a movie with me. And this little dementor in my head will literally like come in and watch a movie with me, and it like within 2 minutes it's gone. Yeah. Because I've like let it in.
Yeah.
Instead of like pushing it away. But if it's still there, if it's getting worse, I'll like meditate, but I'll also try to describe the feeling. Like I'll go get my journal and I'll write down what the feeling feels like so I can start to get distance, and then I'll write down what triggered it, and then I'll, just kind of write it out.
Yeah.
Typical gem cap kind of vibe. And that's been really helpful, because like it broke my cycle of kind of how I dealt with negative emotions my entire life.
Yeah.
Like I've essentially gaslighted myself my entire life, and that's like a hard cycle to break.
Yeah.
so that's been really helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it does take me like a while. Do you know what I mean? Like to even notice that I'm not in a good place, because I just don't. Who wants to be in a bad place? No one wants that. No one. So that's kind of like what a couple of strategies that I employ.
I think they're really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it was really cool, right? So my therapist was like, let's write down, like draw a picture of like the cycle you go through emotionally when something happens, and the mental gymnastics that you put yourself through.
Yeah.
And being able to actually see what you do to yourself on paper is really kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But also, because I worked in corporate for 10 years, seeing a fucking process guide, I could be like, okay, great. Yeah.
I wonder, like, when you're telling that story, like, I wonder if your therapist is like, okay, I really need to appease this bitch's cap rising, or if she just does this with everyone.
I feel like, okay, so she was like, I think I was one of her first ever patients, because she was literally there at Peter Mac on an internship.
Oh, wow.
So when her internship was over, like, I think it was over in like March or something like that. I was like top fucking like patient of hers. Do you know what I mean? Like she was just like, oh my God, okay, so this is like a big deal to me. She was just like, you're just so insightful.
Aww.
And I was like, that is such high praise.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So I definitely think she would have picked up on that.
Yeah.
Like
I think she's like, this bitch needs process and I'm going to give it to her.
Fully. Yeah. Because I spend so much time in my head. Yeah. Like I know what I'm thinking and what my opinions are on fucking everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was I've had a really similar experience to you in that I, for most of my adult life, really repressed how I was feeling, and I manifested it in horrible ways. I drank a lot, I smoked a lot of ciggies, I did a lot of drugs, and I was just a fucking dark bitch. I remember like being at work and just knowing that I could control the mood of a room with my mood.
You definitely can, for sure.
And
yeah, I can attest to that as well.
You've experienced it firsthand in a team meeting, Matt, several times. If I'm like, I used to be like, if I'm down, everyone's fucking coming down with me. Let's go for a ride, guys. Like, I didn't care. And it's just because I wasn't like validating how I was feeling, and I wasn't allowing myself to feel that way, and also like negative self-talk, all of that stuff. Totally. And now, like, as I've said to you guys so many times, like when I feel things now, I will literally just allow it to wash over me. And if I need to cry, I'll cry. You can attest I was crying 10 minutes ago before we started this podcast.
Yes.
And because if I hold that in, the fucking dark bitch is coming back, and I'm going to ruin the vibe by holding in my emotion. And I know that that's what I do. So I recognize it. And if I need to cry, I'm just going to have a little cry and then be like, okay, we've cleared. The energy's moved on. It's out of my body. It's no longer stored. Let's fucking get this done.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
That's how it's very visceral. I can't think of any other way to describe it. But yeah, sometimes I just need to do it.
I got a question for you guys in response to your question, Larissa.
Yeah.
So we've all described our strategies to how to cope with, how we're feeling and recognizing how we're feeling and dealing with them. But we're also all in relationships, right? So I'm wondering whether your experience is the same as mine, because I rely heavily on my partner to bounce ideas off and to kind of flag with me when, I'm maybe disconnected from my feelings, and talking to her is really, really important. As a part of that process. Do you guys feel the same? Are your partners like really important sounding boards for you to talk about your feelings with? I'm assuming yes. Discuss.
It's so funny because I'm laughing because like I'm really good at this emotion stuff, but my boyfriend he's a Cap with a Cancer rising and a Cancer moon.
It's like big mum dad energy.
He's a big dad, so he like wants to talk it out, but he wants to talk it out very methodically, like Lana does. Like, let's draw a chart about how you're feeling. And I'm like, I can't draw a chart. I'm just feeling things. Like, let me just feel them. So it's really like when we have conversations, it's really interesting. It's usually him literally just telling me how he feels very methodically, and me just sitting in front of him crying.
That's so funny.
That's how we get it done. Poor guy.
Yeah. I feel the same way though. Like, I feel like Mitch can't come into the house without literally me just being like, let me tell you everything I have thought and felt for the last 24 hours since you've last seen me.
Exactly.
I've had time to process this. I've been alone all day.
That is
Except for
exactly
Arnold,
me. Like,
who
that
is sick of hearing me.
Literally hear me. We need to talk about this. And I'll be like, can't even talk. I'm crying so much. And he's like, no, we need to talk now. And I'm like, I can't.
That's so funny.
Oh
Like
my God.
Kim K. I'm just
Yes.
crying. Yeah. It's so funny. But like Mitch is so good because he's Taurus with like a gem moon, but and Cap rising. So he's like just the chillest person ever to talk to. He's like really logical, really methodical, like all that sort of stuff. He's really, really easy to talk to.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes I will be talking to him about God knows what. And I know I'm doing it because I'm trying to invite him to tell me how he's feeling about the same like topic or whatever. And I'm trying to like promote a dialogue, whereas he's just like, okay, she's feeling this type of way. What can I do to help her? What can I do to fix her?
Yeah.
And I used to interrogate him quite intensely until like my oncologist was like, they've done studies on PTSD and some people cannot relive, like it's re-traumatizing for them to talk to. Yeah, whereas I talk to process how I'm thinking and feeling about stuff. I need to talk it out. Yeah. Whereas Mitch is the total opposite.
Yeah.
Like he's like, this is unpleasant. I'm going to put this in a box and I'm just not going to deal with it.
Yeah. I'll deal with it in maybe 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. And because we've gone through so much like fucking shared trauma in the last 12 months, like we all have, like I was getting more and more worried as the year kind of progressed and like things were getting scary. And I was just like, fuck, like, are you okay? Can I, get some like groups for you to join and blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, no, I'm okay. Like, and he literally means that he's okay. And it means
okay.
he talking about it is not good for him.
Yeah.
And I've just got to respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we work.
What about you and Joey, Matt?
Well, it's kind of the other way around. Like Jo talks to me all the time about her feelings and I love listening to them. I'm not just saying that because she listens to the podcast, but it's genuinely a great window into who she is as a person. And, I'm not someone to talk about my feelings that often. And so every so often I'll be like describing a problem and she'll just be there like sighing and shaking her head. And then when I'm done speaking, she just sort of sits me down and verbally slaps me about the head a bit and shows me how basically the problem has to do with my feelings, not with my thoughts. And it's those moments of grace that are just transcendent and really make me realize how much I love her and why. And it's something that I rely quite heavily on to sort of improve my life, right? And I'm fucking certain that Human and Mitch do the same thing with used tos.
Yeah.
It's the way that men and women interact on a deeper octave. Yeah.
It's interesting because I think that I've experienced that with you as well, Matt. I think that you do that with a lot of your relationships. Like I've definitely had moments where I've had to be like, Matt, let's talk about how you feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you really feeling? Yeah. And I think it's so good that you're what I really appreciate about you and your friendship, Matt, is that you're so open to feedback. And you're so good at sitting down. Like once you start a dialogue about how you're feeling and what might be going on, you're so open. You're like, it's like a floodgate. It just like blasts out of you. And it's so nice. Like it's really cool. I really respect it and love it.
Oh, thanks, man. And I love you for listening to my insane rants and just being patient while I come to a realization that used tos would have realized immediately. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily. I think that like you're really in touch with your like as soon as somebody is like, okay, so what do you feel about this? Yeah. I think that you're like, oh, like I feel like this and this and this. And then you're like, okay, like you literally just need someone to open the door for you sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but you're very in touch with your emotions and you have no problem communicating them.
Yeah.
And that's really like important. Not a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, it's such cool. It's such cool masculine energy for you to be so cool about it.
Yeah,
because not a lot of guys are.
Oh, you're both awesome! Wow, it's great. I feel like giving you a hug if I wasn't 400 million fucking kilometers.
Also, just before we like wrap up, let me be super, super clear here. Like, Mitch does not suppress his emotions. If he feels things that he needs to tell me, he tells me. But I'm just saying this because I realize now, like while I was just like talking and not thinking, like that it might have come off that I was just like, yeah, he just doesn't talk. And that's fine with me. It's definitely not the case.
So basically just do whatever feels good. That's the advice.
That is the advice.
But make sure that you're feeling something.
Yeah.
That's also the advice.
Totally.
Yeah.
And respect other people's processes.
Yeah, because we all have really different processes. Those damn moons. All right. I might wrap us up now, guys. So thank you so much that was such a fucking good chat, and I feel really good, and I felt really shit this morning, so thank you. So new episodes every Monday. You can subscribe on Spotify so you don't miss an episode, and you can also follow along with us on Apple and anywhere you listen to a goddamn podcast. We're everywhere. So we'll find you. No, kidding. You have to find us. So if you enjoyed this podcast, we would also really love for you to leave us a review on Apple. Make sure that you're also following us on Instagram at Hello Starhose. We post so much cool astro content so that you can know exactly what's happening in the skies at any moment of every day. And as always, if you'd love to hear more about your own personal stars and what transits are happening for you right now, make sure that you reach out to our wizard, Matt Dragonstone, at dragonstoneinsights.com. Everything's in the show notes as usual, so read through. You can see links for our new cards as well. And please remember to wear a mask, wash your hands, and continue to look after and respect each other.
Love that.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Ciao.